All right, fantastic. So I'm excited that we're here and that you're open enough to be ready to share this experience. So how I work is in two ways that we're going to either go, we can do one of two ways or do a combination. And I really allow you to make the choice of how you do that. So we can do a medium reading where we go and connect with your loved ones that have crossed over, or we could do more of a personal reading where we're looking at your life, current situations, and seek guidance from your spirit guides. Or we can combine the both. Is there something that you're feeling called to that we're working on that you want to look at today?
I think today it might feel more like a combo.
Okay.
I think I'm more interested in. I think I'm interested in both as a combo, but
Okay.
I suppose I'd like it to be organic, like what
Okay.
I give off the feeling. You know what I mean?
Right.
But certainly, if there are people who have passed over, I do want to hear from them. If there's also personal and guides who want to speak, I want to hear from them too.
Okay, awesome. So we'll see. And one of the things I've been doing in preparation for our time is to really try to open myself up and open my channels and, ask your guides to come in, ask them if they're willing to show up, let's see what they have to say. So, and how I work is that I will hear different messages from them. And so it will not necessarily be in their voice, but I will hear like emotions and intonations and things like that. So if they're doing something in jest or joking or sarcastic, that's how I'll hear it in my own voice, but that's how I'll communicate it. I also will see symbols that represent things. And so we will, I'll share those with you. One of the things I'm really, feel important about is not making something fit. So if it doesn't fit, what I know is it's coming through for some reason, but we don't know why. So it's not about, let's make something up to make it fit. No, what I've learned is I trust my intuition, but sometimes there's other energies that oftentimes like to pop in and play around. So, if it doesn't fit, we won't make it fit. Okay. The first, it's interesting because the first energy I'm getting through is it's a female energy and someone who feels like they would have been a mentor to you. And it's interesting because what I'm seeing her doing is like she wants to shove to the front of the crowd. It's like this is someone who really feels like there's a message. I need to let her know that I'm here, I'm with her, that I see that she's in the time of transition and that I need to be present for her. Does that sound like somebody who could be stepping forward for you?
I do. I have a couple of female, strong female who would pursue.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can kind of get some more information, get some more details, and clarify who this is. What she's saying is she really feels like she was a teacher for you, and that there was. It's interesting because she's really feeling like she is taking responsibility for being a parent type of energy for you, that there was a parental piece to how she showed up. So that there was a sense of not only was she a teacher in the ways of, I feel like that she was a spiritual mentor in a sense to you as well, but also how to live life's path, right? And so there was a place of, how to do things. How do I come from a child to a woman? And she also feels like she was very much about validating what was important for you. Like she was a very sacred and safe person where you felt heard, right? So for you, and one of my signs for feeling constricted in what you say is like I feel like they're holding my voice. It's like there was a place where you felt like you weren't being heard. Your voice you weren't able to communicate. And she was one of the few that actually allowed you to speak what your truth was. And not only, the more important thing she's saying is she goes, I believed her. And the fundamental, it's like she felt like that, like there's something like my heart just kind of tugged. Like it was just like this tightening of like, for her, there was a level of, I don't know if I'd go so far as to say anger, but it was a frustration and a disappointment for her to watch others' behaviors in how they responded to certain areas of your life. Okay, so are you familiar with who this is? Is this making...
Yeah, this is my grandmother.
Okay, because it was really that sense of, it's interesting because she's saying like it's injustice. Like she felt like an injustice was being served and she didn't For her, there was she didn't understand why you wouldn't have been listened to. Like it didn't, she's kind of going like, I just didn't understand it. And it was a like she's saying, it's like a palpable frustration. Like this was something. And so what I think her message is really communicating to you is that, one, she wants to know, not only did she hear you then, but she hears you now. And that's interesting. Do you hear from her now? Like, what? Okay, so I'm seeing a picture in the background right now. Is there something in there that is energetically reminds you of her? Because she keeps taking my eye to that picture for some reason. And I don't know if it's the fluidity of the water, the fish. How might she connect with that picture?
I'm trying to think how she would have connected with the picture. She would have connected with artwork and collecting things, which is why we have that painting. It's because it's something that I was like, oh, I want that. And I had a great deal on it, which she would also have been proud of. But fish, I mean, fluid, both of us being fluid kind of energies and both water creatures. I think it also may have been, that she always saw beauty in things that were really painful. I know exactly what you're talking about when you say she was disappointed in other people, particularly when she's pointing out parents. Okay. And I know exactly what you're talking about. And she watched an injustice happen. She was no longer with us when she watched it happen. But had she been,
right,
I don't know, she would have handled it very differently.
Right.
But that's interesting you say that about that picture. For our family, koi is a family symbol. So several people in my family now have tattoos to mark this as a family distinction. So I wonder if it's that.
Okay. It's interesting because it's obviously very beautiful. It's just like one of the things that when your loved ones, your guides, when I'm channeling, if I'm consistently drawn to something, then that's a symbol for me. Pay attention, Christine. I'm not just looking at it because it's pretty. There's something that they want me to see. So I think that's in part her validating several things for you. That one, not only the beauty of art, but the symbolism of family. That's interesting. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say we got it for the cat, so you can see it's kind of near the cat tree.
Yes.
And we got it because we thought how funny it would be if the cat thinks that she's around the fish. And my grandmother was the only family member I ever had who owned an animal, and she always believed in having animals and that they were good for emotional health, which is why we got the cat.
Right.
So it could be that too. I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. It's kind of, I think when it was interesting too, because when you said when you talked about the koi being a symbolism of family, what she also showed me was there is for you, and sorry, I take notes. So that's, if you see me kind of going off to the side here, that's what's going on, is that you've also redefined what family means for you, and that it's, that is symbolism in family, and certainly within your family of origin, your biological family. But it feels as if that you've invited, or you will be inviting others into the koi pond, if you will, right? So it's like, it's like, did she have kind of a good sense of humor as well? Did she have a little bit of snap around her?
Oh yeah.
Because she's chiding me a little bit. She's teasing me because, of my Italian heritage. And she goes, Christine, it's not like you with the Italians and sleeping with the fishes, And so she's kind of like nudging me a little bit. So I'm appreciating her sense of humor and giving me a hard time. But yeah, I think that it's for her, a lot of what this is about. And for her, what she stands for you was a symbol of inclusivity. And God, okay. Was she a little before her time?
Yes.
Okay. Because it's like, she was like a feminist before a feminist was popular.
I was about to say that to you.
Okay.
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
Defying the stereotypes of women in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. She would have fit much better about right now.
Right. Yep. Because I was like, when I'm sitting there talking, wow, she's like tingling me up and down right now. Like woo wee, baby. Wow. Like her pride in you. So what she is what she is showing me, and when I'm seriously, my body is lighting up right now. It's like I'm tingling, is that she feels that you are being able to live and be what she wasn't able to. She was able to plant. She's like, Christine, I planted a seed for her, and she's watered it. Like she's tended to the garden. She's watered it. She gets it. She's taking the message. She wants to share another message. It's interesting because she's like, she's kind of funny because she's like, I want to talk with her a little bit about how about some ideas about the feminism, but I think there is a lot of pride. And I'm guessing you might know what that means, but we'll get to it in a second, because I think the big thing is like pride. Like there is just a lot of pride that she was, when I said inclusivity, that she understood what it meant to stand for something, to stand for justice. She gave a voice to those that didn't have a voice. That's what it feels like. Does that resonate? Do you see what I'm saying on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strong and powerful lady.
She also feels, she feels like she wants to apologize to you for not being able to be a voice as much as she could have on the physical plane. That even though you knew that she was with you in spirit, on the other side, she's like, she knows there's a fundamental difference in the relationship when you're present, right? So she's like, even though you knew I was with you, it feels better when you're with you in the personal, on the physical plane. Yeah. So she's acknowledging that and the sense of knowing that you felt, because she's saying that you really felt her loss more during a time of trouble, a time of feeling alone that you had even at the time of her transition. Does that make sense?
Yep, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it? Okay. So, well, let me share this and then you can share a little bit about her. Cause I think it would be fun to kind of give her a shout out, right now. But one of the things that she wants to teach you, she's interested because she wants to teach you some more. And one of the things that she wants for you is to feel the feminine power within you, and to feel she says, don't forget there's the yin yang energy. She's like, I know that's woo woo, but I don't care. Like, so I don't know if she was into alternate kind of things or she's trying to kind of come down to your, to current language. But she's like, I want you to remember that two halves make a whole. And so she wants you to remember both sides of yourself. She wants you to remember the softness. She wants you to remember the gentleness. She wants you to remember your feminine essence as a powerful feminine woman. And that that's interesting because it's like she feels like there's so much power and energy that you have. She said one of the things that's going to be so important for you is to harness that energy in, because the amount of power that you have can get so, you can give away so much of it. You can just kind of and she's like, does she understand that she can be so much more powerful? Even, I mean, she's like, oh my God, she's so powerful. It is. Does she imagine the power that she has if she could harness that just a bit? And so what she's showing me is almost a softening of the edges, right? But you can still carry your message. You can still be powerful. Remember who you are. And it's almost as if, and do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Okay, because I feel like she's trying to say, she's kind of going back to when you were younger and when you were a child. And it's almost, she's giving the feeling like it's almost rejecting who you are, a part of who you were. And she's saying integration versus rejection.
Okay.
Because she's like, you were a beautiful soul. Like you were such, you're a beautiful girl. You're a beautiful woman. You were a beautiful girl. And who you were wasn't wrong. Who you were wasn't bad. Oh, that's interesting. She said, don't forget about her. don't forget about that child. Don't forget about her, because she's still a part of you. And she wants you to love on her. She wants you to love on her a little bit. Do you understand what she's saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been
Right.
it's been a long time since I channeled her or like felt her or like recalled her, spent time
Your little girl?
well
Or your
also
grandmother?
both.
Okay.
And like who I think being a little more free and being a little more trusting, and you kind of lose yourself over time and you get hurt. And she and I were both hurt by a number of intimate relationships, and that I think it jaded her badly and her family,
Sure.
and that she certainly would never want me to be jaded by something like that.
Yeah.
Which she told me to when I was young.
Uh-huh.
But I'm sure she also, I'm sure she would be proud of who I am and what I've done. She would definitely have questions about feminism and gender studies.
Mm-hmm.
She was an old Italian Catholic lady.
A little out of her realm. She's kind of going, she's like, it was funny because you said proud. She goes, proud without a doubt. But yeah, I mean, the level of which wasn't, they weren't talking about it in school back in her day.
No. But yeah, no, so that makes sense. She's was a really wicked strong figure. Have always wanted to name one of my kids after her. Have always felt like she influenced me so strongly. And, you become these strong women who are around you. And she was amongst them. There are probably 2 or 3 who are just strong women who made me who I was. And she was certainly central to that.
Yeah. Yeah. So your kitty is
actually perking up.
She's perking up. She's like, wait. So, yeah, and you know what's so kind of funny? She said, when you're talking about that naming your child, she goes, look, she can name one of the fish in the picture after me. What is that? What's stopping her? So, she's like, she has an opportunity. Why doesn't she take it? So she's, little sass going on.
Definitely sass.
It's interesting because one of the things that she is wanting to remind you of, which you already know, but you're kind of forgetting, is skosh. And I think that's one of the gifts that those that have crossed over can give us, as well as our guides, is they're able to remind us of what we've forgotten, and then helps us to remember, like maybe we have to write it down every day or whatever. But she's reminding you that there is, and I wrote it down here, it's power and vulnerability. Those are the words she was talking about, because the one thing, and it's interesting because this has come up several times in sessions this week, is vulnerability kind of seems to be this, word that's really up this week. And the first thing was that she was talking about was vulnerability. And then she linked it to power for me in regards to giving that to you. And that's interesting because what she's really communicating is, she would like to see you devote some study to feminist vulnerability and how feminine can use vulnerability to increase their power. So to sit with that, and it's not something that you have to, she's not giving the indication it's something that you have to answer like now, like, okay, let her, give her dissertation to Christine right now on this. But I think she's asking, she's asking you to expand your view on this. And what she said, she goes, look, I understand that it's difficult for her because of her experiences, because of, that's interesting, because what so she feels as if part of what she doesn't want you to take what happened with her in her life as a reason to, and this is her term, stay hard. like that's, I think, part of the softening is she wants you to look at what she went through and what you've gone through and attach a new meaning to it. So it doesn't mean that what happened was okay. It doesn't mean that it's, that it made it right. It doesn't excuse behaviors. It's about attaching a meaning and taking growth and power from that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 So I think she's just, that's so funny. She's so funny. Did she ever want to go into teaching? Which it feels like, so she kind of like she showed up like in a cap and gown but like in the faculty cap and gown, you know what I mean? Like not in like the graduate, but like she wants to be a member of faculty. Like, she's like, I'm on, like, let's go. Like, let's bring it on. So
nobody in my family had more than a high school degree.
mm-hmm.
So, I don't know that about her. I don't remember. I was younger. I was youngish when she died.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, wow, it was actually a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I think about it. So, I don't know that about her. I don't recall, but yeah, no, education is pretty new. I will certainly be the first to be one of those people who has that professor's cap and gown type thing.
Yeah.
So
I feel like she, it's interesting. Is there someone you could ask about that? Maybe what her aspirations were, if she had interest in that, because I feel like there's two things she's trying to communicate with them with that. One being that she still feels like she wants to be on your squad, right? So like with those that you look to who are guiding your education, she still wants to be part of your spiritual teachers. And right. So can you see her on, like, she's like, she goes, add me to faculty. So it's like, she wants to be on faculty, right? So she's very funny that way. But I'd be curious to see if there's someone in your family that can share with you if she ever shared her dreams around that.
She also, as far as I would remember, that she would also value non-formalized education, to say that like she would have been faculty on, like she would be on my dissertation committee, not so much as a professor, but as like a like to say whether this was, real or not. One of those kind of people who,
when you're saying that, she's so funny. So what she did, like, so, like I'm saying, what I saw is like a table of your faculty in front and you're presenting the dissertation. She walked in and pulled up a chair to the end of the table and just parked it.
Would be one of the people. Yeah.
Yeah. Like just, uninvited. I don't care. Like whatever you think, like here I am.
Yeah. She would joke.
I don't feel like she cursed a lot. But it was kind of like, screw it. Like, here I am.
Yeah.
So enjoy. And it's funny because she would have been the life of the party.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she would have. God, that's so funny. She commanded attention. Like, people listened to her. So it's like what she's showing me is like, so I seeing her parked at the table in front of like, your professors, if you will. And it's like kind of all energy kind of goes to her. And then like she gets up and she's just now talking to them. It's like she's on stage. Like she is the one who is like, they're listening. They're paying attention to her now. Yeah. And it's like she's gotten all their attention. And it's like everyone's loving every minute of it. Like just every minute of it. Did she also cook? Did she like to cook as well?
Yes.
Okay, because then she goes, I'm a cook. Let's go eat. Like it was.
Yep.
Does that make, okay? Because she's like, as she's doing her presentation, she's kind of done. She's like, all right, let's go eat. So.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, she is awesome. She is so much fun. Is there something that you would like to ask her?
Oh, I didn't think about that. I suppose like what, how far would she think that forgiveness goes? Is there ever a line where you just say, I can't forgive, or, I'm forgiving and forgetting. She wasn't, I'd want to know, like, especially with the injustice that you talked about, or her wishing she'd been here for hard times.
Mm-hmm.
So looking back on those hard times, like what, now what, moving on wise.
Yeah, so she's saying, and it's interesting that she had me kind of circle back to what I was sharing about earlier, but that forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is not making it okay, and not acknowledging it, not talking about it, but the forgiveness is within yourself. Mm-hmm. So, and I think it was Nelson Mandela's quote she's reminding me of about, wishing ill on someone is taking poison yourself. So it's really that sense of, it's like we want something negative to, bad to go on. And it's like what we're doing is really doing the poison ourselves. And so she's really asking you can forgive them without accepting what they've done. It's interesting. She goes, I feel, she's feeling like, did your body just have kind of a contraction on that a little bit? Like, I don't want to. Yeah. Cause that's like, she's acknowledging she felt that little, for you. She feels like she knows she's making a big ask for you. And a big ask of you. Oh, wow. She goes, herein lies your lesson. Herein lies your lesson. Like this is going to be, she feels as if this will be one of the paramount. This is the key to your freedom. She goes, this is the key to her freedom. Mm. She goes, this girl is so smart. And she still doesn't understand there's a difference between forgiveness and making it okay. And she wants that so desperately for you, that you see the difference between forgiveness and making what happens, making the trauma okay. Right. So it's almost like, how do you integrate that first step? How do you integrate some level of emotional understanding? Because she goes, look, that kid's got it up here. Like she's got it in her head and she can sort of get it in her head. But where I want her to start going is I want her to somehow know that, she goes, the head and the heart have their energy. She goes, they energetically work together. And so I feel like there is that piece of really finding some understanding in, she goes, and look, if she needs to go do research on the different, if that's her jam, it's like, did she like kind of try to like sometimes keep up with the kids or like, try to talk the language or something like that? Cause I'm like, why did I just say my jam? Like, I don't get that would be a grandma like kind of thing, She goes, Christine, like I'm hit. Like, who are you kidding? Like, she goes, come on. I was everyone's favorite. And she goes, I was everyone's favorite and I never let them forget it as well. That is true. Okay.
That is true. And also just like a central matriarch and a loud, outspoken woman.
Yes. Yes. So I feel like that's part of an exploration for you is to really somehow first come to peace, not with the forgiveness piece, but come to peace with the understanding of the difference between forgiveness and making the behavior, making whatever happened okay.
Yeah.
So it's almost like she's asking you to go back a couple of steps before you go to this place of, fully, wholly, and completely forgiving.
Yeah.
Like she's going, oh, like, so she just take a step back, go with your analytical space and to take a step back. Because it doesn't have to be something that She's really validating that you're such a different person now, that you've really taken a lot of steps for continued and progressive emotional growth. And she doesn't want this to stunt that growth, right? Because for her, okay, so she just showed me like a barricade, like when you're driving on a road and there's like the police barricade. She's like, it's almost like she feels like this could be a barricade to something greater. And it's not like you just have to rip it out of the way. She's like, you can just start, it's kind of like here. And she's like, you can just start pulling it back from across the road, right? It's not, you don't have to find this all today, tomorrow. She's just asking you, this is a vulnerability. It's just, Frankie goes all back to the vulnerability. Allowing the softness, allowing the vulnerability. Does that resonate?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also the emotional, like I'm very different than I was. And, there comes a point where if you're dealing with so many things and then you're dealing with trauma and you also have this predisposition, she and I both shared predisposition for all kinds of mental bugs. And you have to make a choice whether it'll kill you or you get up and you keep moving. And sometimes in that keep moving, you forget that there's still these little pockets that hide, that sometimes come to catch up on you. And it's funny, they came to catch up on me this week. And my brother was visiting this week and it came up for a second and I was like, whoa, I still haven't, why do I feel like I haven't moved on from that? Or moved on from things. And it's like, well, what does it really mean to move on? And so it's interesting that I had not thought of her as a source of healing for some of these issues before, which I probably should have. She's probably nodding her head going, yeah.
What's interesting is one of the things that she was sharing, and you said something really interesting. When you said keep moving, she wants me to remind you that there's a difference between how do I keep moving and constant movement. Because constant movement can be ways to avoid versus, because what she had me write down was, she said keep moving, but then in parentheses she had me write slow down.
Right.
So there's kind of that sense of we continue to move forward, but there's moments where we might have to take pause. There's moments where we're going to still have a squeeze or something. Look, I'd love to say we're all going to reach nirvana and never have a problem and never have anything make us angry. And I think the Dalai Lama is the only one that has gotten to that place. You know what I mean? So it's like, we're going to have the dips and we're going to have the moments of yuck. But the win is when the dip isn't so far down and it doesn't last so long. It's like the dip is a little bloop, and maybe we are having a bad couple of days versus a bad couple of months, bad in quotes, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think for her, it's that sense of there is the moving forward, taking the moment though in those times to just, and she's reminding you not to confuse moving forward with constant motion.
Right.
Because constant motion is also a way to avoid the feels, feeling the feels, right?
Right.
And moving on, she's saying that's an interesting one. She's like, again, that is, she kind of like, she's linking it back to the forgiveness piece, that is it moving on or moving forward or moving past or forgiving? Like, she's wanting you to pay attention to some of the semantics, some of the words, right?
Yeah.
It's again, I feel like it's again, that whole link into, she's showing me, she's going like this. Like, she's like, she wants it to be done. Like black and white, done. I'm done. It's gone. I forgive. Everything's great. Boom. And she's like, Christine, she goes, did I teach her nothing? It's fluid. It's fluid. It's fluid. It's like, it's moving, it's going, it's ebbing, it's flowing. Right. So now she's giving you, there you go. So she's like, she's giving you the grandma finger right now. Kind of like that. Look, stop making it so black and white. Like, she's like, for God's sake, stop making it so black and white. Like, It's so funny. She's drawing me. Oh my God, that's hilarious. So, and I said, don't make it black and white. She had me look at your shirt. And she goes, does she not see the combination of how there's black, there's white, there's gray, that it all mixes together? But the bottom line is it's still light, right? Inevitably, it's still light. So she's like, take a breath. Take a breath. Like, she's like having me like, okay, all right, take a breath.
Yeah.
All right. You miss her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She left this planet really quickly, really too soon.
Yeah.
So
did she, because red roses are a symbol of love, but I feel like, did she just love flowers in general? Because I feel like she's showing red flowers, and she showed pink rose. She said like red roses, pink peonies. Like, it's just like this like explosion of.
Yeah, she took care of all kinds of plants, and she had stuff on her patio all the time, and she liked little things to take care of. And we always had flowers. When she was leaving the planet, we always had flowers in the room.
Yeah.
She loved all things that were pretty.
Yeah. And that brought her a lot of comfort, actually. I think that brought her a lot of comfort. And she's like, it was like vibrant around her. Like, she felt like she's showing me that there was a lot of vibrancy around her, and that meant a lot for her. She felt like that symbolized her life, is that sense of vibrancy.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but I like remember, I mean, she had moved to Colorado, and how exciting it was. And it all, like, within, the year, it was about 2 years of her moving and passing away. And it was like quick. It was a lot. And everybody cited that quickness and that death as like the start of all my issues. Which was interesting because, well, sort of, except that the whole family had this big predisposition to have these issues anyway. But so perhaps it was the trigger. And then it's been really interesting to see people make comparisons between me and her, like, all the time. And they don't offend me at all. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I hope not to be, and I hope she's not offended when I say I hope not to be married more than 4 or 5 times. But if they gotta go, they gotta go.
Yeah. I think that she's saying that doesn't have to be your journey. She's really putting a lot of it's interesting because she's putting a lot of responsibility on you right now. Like, look, that at some level, she's saying at some level, that can be a choice for you. It's about the choices that you're making in your relationship.
Right.
And in your relationships. So it doesn't abdicate responsibility if someone does, if a partner does something that's not in integrity or whatever, right? She's also, though, asking you to show up how you would want to show. How do you want your partner to show up? She wants you to show up how your partner wants to show up. So she's reminding you that it is a partnership. And she's really showing me that there needs to be some clarification of boundaries and roles in the partnership. She adores your partner. She's shown me like a yin yang for the balance of that. She's also indicating to me that it's time to have some more grown-up conversations. Do you see what I'm saying? What's that?
I totally agree with that. Yes.
And it's about, but it's not taking, like, she's not showing them as dark or heavy conversations. It's about, look, let's just kind of take a look. It's a real, like, this is where we are. So let's kind of let's, have a little bit of a grown-up conversation.
Yeah.
And it's not about it. She goes, stop with the doom and gloom. Like, it doesn't, she's like, she's like lightened, like I feel like lighten a little of the energy up around it. She feels like you are forgetting to play in your relationship. And she's like, that's your child that you're forgetting about, right? Like she's kind of reminding you that you need to start playing again, and that maybe you're going to be the one that has to schedule these conversations. She's like, it's fine. She's just wanting you to remember the energy you're bringing to the relationship and the energy you bring to these level of the conversations. And it's not, she said, come with an open and vulnerable heart, not a heavy heart. That's I think really, it's like she could just own her power in such a different way if she's willing to just let herself own that power.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I usually end our time together with, we choose an oracle card, and oracle cards are just a great way for our guides to kind of give us messages and to kind of, if we either can ask a question to ourselves, or you can just see what they come up. But it's just a nice way of either those that have crossed over our guides to provide some level of communication. So is there a question you think that you have that you want to ask, quietly of yourself, or do you want to just see what your loved ones and guides want to share with you?
Yeah, I'd want to know, what should my spiritual, emotional growth goal be for this summer?
Okay. All right. I'm energetically feeling like you're being called to the center of the deck. If I kind of fan out my deck this way, are you being called to a certain place?
Yeah, there's like one. It looks like it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one from the other side.
This side?
Yep. 1, 2, 3, and then it's like the fifth one in.
Like this? Yeah. That's it?
Yep.
Okay. Ooh. It says, self-respect. I honor and love myself through my healthful actions. Okay, so hang on and I'll read you. This is our Doreen Virtue deck. She does a lot of work with angels and angel numbers, and it's just very loving and beautiful, and just a nice way to kind of help us connect. So she says, self-respect. I honor and love myself through my healthful actions. Mother Mary, and this deck is based on the Virgin Mary as one of our great, archetypes, right? Mother Mary cares deeply for you, your welfare, and your happiness. She asks you to respect yourself enough to take good care of yourself. Remember that you're God's child in creation. By respecting yourself, you are honoring God, and you can use God or higher power, whichever feels good for you. Universe, spirit. The answer to your present question lies within another question. Which path would be most respectful of me and make me feel the best about myself? Self-respect increases when your actions are aligned with your true belief. This card asks you to stop doing anything that makes you feel ashamed or guilty, and to focus all of your attention upon that which makes you feel proud to be you. So, how does that land? Does that need to sink a little bit? Or does it make sense?
It lands very well after a year of bad health problems and lots of disrespect to myself and just disdain about how I look. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but I'll have to let that one sit in.
Okay, so what your grandmother just told me in regards to that? Mm. Gentle. Okay, gentle. All right.
I can do that.
All right. Great job.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Mwah. All right. Talk to you later. Take care.